Genesis, follow you, follow me. Right now we're at 11:40 this Thursday morning. Almost every day we're bombarded with new information about climate change, and you've got to admit it can be overwhelming. Now there have been calls down south for more to be done to teach children about the issue in schools. But how do we explain climate change to our children, and how do we get the balance right, informing them but not scaring them? Let's talk about this first with Melanie Harwood, founder of eduCCate Global. Melanie, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning to you.
Are we teaching children, Melanie, at the moment in the right way about climate change?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. We first need to teach teachers. So this is where we're finding teachers are coming to us and saying, how do we teach climate change? How do we have the correct language and the confidence to teach this? There are some schools that are. You have quite a few teachers in Scotland that did our climate change teacher course in 2019. I've looked on my system. I think there's about 200-300 of them. There might be more since then. But it's about the teacher having the confidence to be able to teach it. So that's what we need to be looking at.
When you say confidence, what are teachers concerned about with this? Is it the politics of it?
Oh, no, there's no politics. And you have no choice. There is no left, there is no right. The science is clear. We have climate change. We walk outside every day. We can see it, taste it, touch it. We see it on our news. It's got nothing to do with the politics. It's the teachers feel overloaded, and they don't know, where do they go, who do they trust, and who supports them. So when we started this in 2018, I was very naive, and I thought we only needed one climate change teacher in every school. We don't. Every teacher needs to be given the foundation training to be able to confidently teach about climate change.
Well, there are politics around it. I mean, specifically here in Scotland, I'm thinking about a child sitting in a school in Aberdeen, Scotland's oil capital. There is a discussion here about the pace of how we respond to moving away from oil and gas in the North Sea. And do you think that plays into some of the nervousness, perhaps, around teachers teaching this?
Not at all. You only have to go and look. You have a phenomenal professor who's just been brought over to Heriot Watt, Professor Susan Crumdyke, and she teaches transition engineering, and all of the oil and fossil fuel companies are putting their employees through her transition engineering training. So don't assume that we're all afraid of the fossil fuel companies are embracing this. They know we have no choice.
In terms of what the teachers then pass on to the children, Melanie, a survey, I mean, if we're going to talk about surveys, a survey by Bath University last autumn, and the worries that young people had around this showed that nearly 60% of young people approached said they felt very worried or extremely worried about climate change. So let's talk about the language that we use in teaching children. We need to take this into account when we are teaching them, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have to ensure that we are enabling all teachers, and they must be confident in teaching it, discussing it, and supporting those students, because these children are facing a very uncertain future. And there's nothing worse for a child than coming in and saying, well, here's the science, good luck with that. You've really got to be able to have the empathy and understand why you are teaching it and how you need to bring communities together so that you can tackle this issue. So it's a much broader issue.
How should this best be organised then, Melanie? I'm just thinking practically how it would work in schools. I mean, should there be specialist teachers in this area, do you think? Or is it for every teacher to be educated in this as part of their training?
I think you have to have a two-pronged attack. From what we've learned over the last 4 or 5 years, head teachers are the key to the kingdom, and your councils. So your council, your local town council, must work with your head teachers, and they put together, we have a leadership team, so 6 teachers in every school do the foundation, and they then upskill all the other teachers in the school. So that ultimately within over a year, 2 years, every staff member is right up to speed, and they understand how to teach climate change. They understand the literacy, the language, and they understand the science. They understand all the aspects of it so that they can really confidently deliver this throughout the curriculum. You're not adding anything new to the curriculum. You are upskilling those teachers so that they can deliver this broadly.
I was going to ask you that. Where do you think this should sit in the curriculum? Is it part of science?
It's everywhere. It's climate change and sustainability, and I hate the word sustainability because nothing is sustainable. I think the way that we are looking at it is that what we're finding in the schools that we've already been delivering to, that once they grasp this and they are confident, they work out, they map the curriculum, and they look at maths, science, even PE, and they look at how they can add 30 to 50 hours of climate literacy onto their curriculum each year. You are still teaching maths. Can I give you an example that sounds a bit dull? So I hate maths. But if I have to learn percentages and ratios, the lesson always stays the same. But why don't I mix it up? And my maths teacher teaches me about diminishing land mass in Bangladesh. I'm still learning percentages and ratios, but I'm starting to think. I'm thinking of climate change and climate literacy on a far broader perspective. So that's what we're aiming for, so that you're not adding anything to the curriculum. This is a part of our lives. And if we are going to be moving forwards, we want our children to be fully equipped so that they can go and deliver. Every job is going to be a green job. Please don't believe that we're just going to have green jobs in boxes. Every single job will be a green job in our future.
So you're making the curriculum more relevant for the needs of the next generation.
It's this generation, us, and for you and me. We're going to have to learn it too, love. We've got no choice.
Yeah, you're not getting me back to school, though. That's those days are done. Melanie, stay there. I want to bring Anya into the discussion. Anya Hart-Dyke is the creator of Big Dreams, Little Footprints. Anya, good morning.
Good morning.
What does your organisation do?
So I'm a mum of a 7 and a 4-year-old, and I have a professional background in sustainability. Sorry, Melanie, for the word. Since about 2011. And I set up Big Dreams Little Footprints 3 years ago as a sort of an online educational platform for families of young children, sort of under 10s, to embed sustainability in family life, so to do what they can at home as non-educators. But and then, excuse me, more recently I've set up the Scottish Sustainable Schools Network, which is Scotland-wide, and it's aimed primarily at parents, but I've also got head teachers, and deputy heads on board as well. And it looks at supporting parents and teachers who are involved in primary school education on how schools can do better. So signposting, sharing best practice, sharing resources, lots of practical tips. It's new, it's in its infancy, but I see a lot of potential. There's a lot of interest in it. So that's what I'm mostly focused on at the moment.
What do you feel about the education that's being offered at the moment on climate change, especially to younger children?
Well, my daughter came up to me 3 days ago, and she said this once before only, but it only has to happen once to be terrifying. She said, I'm worried we can't save nature. And it came out of nowhere, and you think, oh, well, that's not to be, it's not that surprising that she might be feeling that way, but it still cuts to the core, doesn't it? When your child is worried about something she has nothing to do with, there's no responsibility for. And so I listened, as a psychologist advised that you do when your child comes to you with a concern about a threat, whatever that threat is. I made her feel safe, made her feel loved, made her feel valid in how she was feeling, because it's a rational response to a threat. And we talk through the agency that we have as a family, about the things we're already doing, the practical actions we're taking, and why they're having an impact, like buying more local seasonal vegetables to cut out the big ships that bring in the things that we import to the country, food and other things, and why we buy second-hand, which cuts out buying brand new from factories that are polluting, and those sort of basic things, which she already knows that we do and why we do them, and a little bit about activism. And so the most salient example for her is my role as eco-rep on my daughter's parent council. And so I've been an eco-rep for a couple of years. And it was because of my experience with my daughter's primary school, she's 7 in P3 at the moment, that I thought I would like to up the ante a bit and see what I can achieve with the school. So both what I can do as a parent, the practical help side of things. I run the second-hand uniform cupboard with the school, which is really practical, hands-on and sort of immediate impact stuff. It's really rewarding. But also, what more can the school do on what they do with the curriculum, as Melanie's been talking about, and signposting them to Learning for Sustainability Scotland, for example, and all the resources they have, and what they can do as an institution, the practical stuff, the energy consumption, the pupil-led eco-committees, and how they can get involved in practical action that the school takes as an institution.
Biggest issue facing us all. Thanks for talking to us about it. Anya Hartdyke, creator of Big Dreams, Little Footprints. And we heard from Melanie Harwood there, founder of eduCCate Global. 11:50 on a Thursday. It's BBC Radio Scotland.
Join me, Mark Nelson, for the show with loads of laughs.